So today I want to talk about, let me take my glasses off here. Today I want to talk about the coaching industry, because I know some of you out there are coaches and you want to know what my experience is, having been 22 years in this industry, and actually a lot longer than that. Even before that, I had really studied this industry by being a participant as well. And a couple of things. There are three things I want to cover. Firstly, that if you're a decent coach, now, I'm going to assume you got a lot of the basics down, like, how to at least coach in a basic way, how to run a business, etc. And if you've done that, then there are three things you want to do, seriously, if you are committed to being a coach. And I'm not talking about being a trainer, but I'm talking about being a coach. Trainer is someone who gets on the stage and speaks, is a platform speaker, perhaps he sells from the platform, but he doesn't necessarily do daily coaching or weekly coaching. He may do a little bit of that, but it's not the brunt of his service. Now, I'm talking to people who really want to be coaches and love the coaching industry, love to coach people. The first thing you want to do is really, and I do mean this seriously, is to start being more, to start reading more outside of what most other coaches read. And I would emphasize reading books that are, from real classic literature. Charles Dickens, Dostoevsky, philosophers, poets like Pablo Neruda, great philosophers like Martin Heidegger, the existentialists, the Stoics. You want to read about these philosophies because I'll tell you why. Because it's going to keep you on the cutting and leading edge, which does translate into more money if that's what you're interested in. But it also certainly translates into being way more marketable, especially when you're dealing with highly intelligent people who tend to actually pay more for the coaching services because they see the value and they see the distinction of who you are compared to other coaches. Most coaches are not reading to elevate themselves. They don't read Shakespeare. They have no inkling of it. They read very simplified, oversimplified, unnuanced, very uncomplicated stuff. Platitudes, you could say, or like I said, oversimplifications, which are fine for a while. But if you don't expand yourself, then you're missing out on a whole body of distinctions that can only be gotten from reading these kinds of books and going through it and learning to enjoy it. Because once you enjoy this, then you start seeing, oh, you know what? That particular story or that particular way that the author described the situation is going to help me with my clients. I can see exactly how. And boy, you know what? That's not something they teach me in coaching school. I can promise you they don't. And they won't teach you in school either or college unless you do a course in literature perhaps. And even then they don't. So you want to really start reading. The other adjunct of, or the other output of reading is that you start developing your own distinctions, how you can coach, what you can give to people, which is unique to you. You start putting ideas together of how you can coach people better. Now that's very cool. And very few coaches are doing that, I guarantee you. And if you can start doing that, you're going to be way apart of that. Now, the other thing about this is if you do this, if you become a really good coach like that, you automatically become a really great speaker because people want to hear you. You've got original content. Who would you rather listen to? A speaker who keeps telling you the same stuff, which can be useful, or a speaker who has original content, who gives you fresh perspectives and keeps you at the leading edge, right? Who would you prefer? So my thing is really start reading outside of your current categories. The other thing I can't emphasize enough is to continue practicing. I meet trainers who have not coached for a long time. And it's horrible watching them trying to coach people, especially from the stage, because you can tell they're just out of practice or they may never have gotten it in the first place, but they certainly are out of practice. And it's key to keep you practicing with different kinds of people, especially, so that you can meet almost any challenge. And I've got a tremendous amount of confidence when it comes to coaching people, but I know, once in a while I'll meet somebody and I'll get really challenged. And then I'll understand that's the edge for me. And I want to start reading more and learning more on how I can coach those people. And the truth is, at my level, and this is not bragging, it's just the truth, there's almost no other coach who can give me an added distinction. There are probably some of them out there, but I haven't met them, and I don't know of them, and it may be, but I can't spend my time looking after them every time they come across an edge like that. So reading is really a powerful access to me, and I don't wait for that situation to arise. I try to read ahead of the curve, so to speak. So I already have the distinctions when I meet someone unique like that, and then that's important to do. Is that kind of practicing and that reading, and keep practicing, having conversations, looking at how you can be improving in those conversations. Your greatest data to get back is how well your clients are doing. Are they producing the results over time? I don't expect them to produce results overnight. It almost never happens. If it does, it's great, of course, but most great results are over time, and you want to measure that and be truthful about whether you're really producing those results with them or not. The last thing I want to leave with you is really it's really the third part of the definition of mindfulness, and this comes from the work of Ellen Langer, who was the first woman tenured in the Department of Psychology at Harvard University. And she wrote a book called Mindfulness, and she researched mindfulness, which is not Buddhist or spiritual mindfulness, not about meditation. It's really about paying attention and getting out of the rut of automaticity or mechanicalness. And in what I'm talking about in coaching, there are a lot of coaches who are very automatic in what they say. It's almost predictable. You can almost see and hear what they're going to say in the next 5 minutes. Again, not bad, but over time it can get really horrendous, because you're not really leading people with a new category that can address their new areas of complexity. So as your clients grow, sometimes it's appropriate that you stop coaching them, because that's about as far as you can go, because you don't want to go in the same direction they may be wanting to go, and you want to develop in a different direction. But you must develop in that different direction, or your own direction rather, and create those new categories of information, those new distinctions that keep you at that leading edge. So I wanted to impart that to you, and I hope that makes a difference. Thank you for the question.